Jim Evans writes his wife works with dementia patients, and it's really sad for the family, and the initial phases are really hard to deal with. Like I said in the main channel video, it is really sad for all the loved ones when someone does have dementia. And it's also really hard for, I think, the person who has dementia to acknowledge and for them to actually accept it too. I think it's just so much more convenient and easier and less painful for the patient, the dementia patient, to just pretend that he or she doesn't have dementia, to just be in denial that they have dementia. And one of the things is actually forgetting the things that they are doing that are dementia-like, whether it's leaving their keys in the microwave. I mean, that's very, very common, right? Putting objects where they wouldn't normally put the object. It's very common of dementia, So when they open up the microwave to put their soup in to the microwave, they find their keys there and they say, oh, how did they get there? And they just put them away, maybe somewhere else. But then, when maybe their family would approach them and say, hey, we're noticing some things, blah, 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 the patient wouldn't remember necessarily, or very well at least, that they put their keys in the microwave and done other things that are symptoms of dementia. It's really hard for a family to specifically get their loved one to acknowledge that maybe it is a problem. And it's really hard on the family too, not only having to manage someone with dementia, but also coming to the realization that their loved one will be forgetting them in a matter of years. And when they see them, they just won't recognize them, which is really sad. When the person is diagnosed with dementia, they are fully aware of what dementia is, and to hear that news is just really, really traumatic. I mean, imagine that you're diagnosed, God forbid, with dementia. What does that mean? That when you see your loved ones, you just won't recognize them. You won't recognize them, you won't remember some things, and they will slowly fade away from your memory. And it's kind of like a slow, painful, emotional death. You're losing a loved one slowly and painfully and emotionally. Maybe they're still physically around, but when they see you, they just don't recognize you. They don't remember certain things. They don't remember last time they saw you. I mean, it's just really sad. It's a really terrible, terrible illness. And actually, scientists are kind of working towards a vaccine. There's a lot of promising news coming out of the scientific world on vaccines that can prevent illnesses like Alzheimer's. So that is really promising and really hopeful that we can possibly get to a point where it's quite limited. I kind of relate Joe Biden at this point and in this stage of his career to something very similar to taking grandpa's keys away. I kind of look at it like that. So, and that's like car keys away specifically. So this is kind of like, taking Joe Biden's key to the Oval Office away. What really needs to happen at this point, given his status and given what's going on, I think his cabinet needs to come together and needs to have an intervention with Joe Biden and needs to say to him, hey, what needs to happen here is we need an independent specialist, give you a cognitive test and see where your cognition is. And based on that, then they can decide on whether Joe Biden should be president still right now, or if maybe he can kind of wait it out a little bit for another year. I would guess probably not. If he takes a cognitive test, he probably is going to fail it. So I think that. But give him a test, see what it is. And I think then the cabinet can say, hey, make a decision. And if they think that he should leave and Joe Biden doesn't think that he should leave, then in that case, then they're probably going to have to invoke the 25th Amendment and get him out. It's just really, really sad, especially to have the leader of the free world. And yeah, there's a lot of, I guess, handlers of Biden and people to kind of show him around. And he has a lot of note cards with things to do, such as you enter the room and you say hello and you sit down. That was just, I couldn't believe that he actually had a card like that. That's how progressed his dementia is. This is not anything like, oh, what's going on today? I forgot what's going on. No. This is literally, he forgets the most basic things of how to be president, such as meet somebody and say hello and sit down. It's just unbelievable. is just unbelievable. There's no other word for it. That's how progressed it seems his dementia is. But you don't know until he gets a test. But I presume that he's going to fail it if he does take any type of test, which is probably why we saw him try to avoid any test and said, "Oh, I wouldn't take a cognition test. Why would I take something like that?"